Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having the best day ever. If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Sebastian and I welcome you guys with open arms. I do tea video, pop culture videos every single day. So make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would be so incredibly grateful. You guys, it is the first full moon of 2022 and this is the perfect time for us to let go of everything and just to literally manifest our dream life. So I just wanted to give you a little motivation, for you to let go of everything and release everything and bring in all the positivity. Okay, you guys, we have to talk today. Now that we've released the negative, bitch, we have to talk a lot. So grab a snack and a drink. Please, please, please don't forget to subscribe. As a growing channel, it really does help me a lot. Okay, you guys, I'm already sweaty because I'm already getting a little annoyed. But I just sat through the interview, part 1 of Jamie Lynn Spears on the podcast Call Her Daddy. I have quite a lot to say, you guys. And I took some notes, okay? Because you guys know me. I do love me some notes. I have them all here. I don't know if you can see it. But I did take some notes. And in previous times, you guys, I have been very, I would say, excited and maybe even a little bit aggressive, just because I hate what is being done towards Britney. And even though I am a Britney fan, I want to try and be understandable in this video. And I want to try and be as direct, and I really want to, I don't want to let my emotions take over, if you will. I'm going to try and talk it out, you know what I mean? But I don't promise anything because, you know what, this interview, it lasted almost an hour. It really, really, really made me think of Jamie Lynn, and I don't know if I'm scared of her. If I'm being honest, I'm scared. Jamie Lynn started the interview with saying that she was a mistake, an oops baby, okay? Basically, her parents did not plan her. So even before anything started, she was already feeling like she didn't belong, like she didn't matter, like her existence, her being there was not, planned or welcomed or anything. So she starts out by saying that within the first 10 minutes, they already start talking about Britney, okay? And yes, I understand that Britney is a big part of Jamie Lynn's story, but I also feel like, I don't know if this, person, Call Her Daddy, she was so, I feel like she was trying to be on Jamie's side the whole time, and she was really trying to make Jamie as comfortable as possible, but I also feel like she was just trying to get so much Britney tea that, sometimes she would just, I guess forget that she's interviewing Jamie for Jamie, which is another great example of Jamie Lynn feeling like a nobody. Okay, so when she was growing up, she says that her life was very difficult. She didn't really have a relationship with her dad. She did see how much her mom struggled with defending her own self, with her dad. Basically, her dad ran the show. She then talks about when Britney started getting, a little bit of her childhood, and then, I took some very important notes. Right in the beginning, maybe the first 15 minutes or so, this podcaster asked Jamie Lynn about Justin Timberlake. So that's already, a red flag in my eyes, and I'll tell you why. I understand that he was also a part of her life, but everybody knows that there was something so devastating for Britney about Justin, so I just feel like bringing up Cry Me a River, bringing up Every Time, she said that She looked at Justin like the first healthy male figure, she's ever had, and that she felt safe, and it was like the best time in all of their lives. And when they broke up, she said it affected her tremendously. Okay? You guys have to understand one thing. I feel like Jamie Lynn doesn't feel, I don't know if I see it this way, but I do feel like Jamie Lynn, she feels that she didn't really have her own life, and that everything had to do and be about Britney, okay? Which I feel like anger comes from that. And I think that is where we are going to see it later on, like we are seeing it today. It's this anger of feeling ever since you were born that you were not important, that you were not the center of attention, okay? She basically says that she started seeing Britney's destructive behavior patterns start happening. She recalls something we already know was that Britney grabbed her, took a large knife, and locked themselves in a room. This was after Britney's 55-hour marriage. And Britney kept saying, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. She locked Jamie Lynn. I believe Jamie Lynn was 11 years old at this time. And she recalls this as just another episode of Britney that she didn't really understand. But now looking back, she knows it's wrong. But back then, because everybody was just so focused on how Britney feels, that it was sort of like pushed under the rug type deal. Then she started talking about how back then she wishes she would have stood up for Britney, but because she was only 11 or 12, that it wasn't her job, to stand up for Britney, and that she wishes that somebody would have stood up for Britney because she noticed that Britney was, extremely exhausted and, not well. She says that she treated her mom really poorly. She says she said that she, growing up, she was not the nicest to her mom, but that she was not very nice to her mom because she didn't understand why her mom allowed so many things to happen because of her father and her father's drinking. She also goes on and says that, she could never, that she felt like a prop, and that everything that revolved around her had to somehow go back to Britney. She can't say the wrong thing. She can't do the wrong thing. She can't be seen doing something that is not going to look good for Britney's brand. Britney and Britney's brand was so protected that Jamie Lynn felt like a prop. She did say that she felt like she just didn't matter. And, look, as a 11-year-old, if everything Jamie Lynn is saying to be true, from such a young age, living in your sister's shadow and being so in the shadow that you don't matter as a human being, I feel for her, right? For that 11-year-old. I feel for that 11-year-old. Let me clarify before you start saying that I'm on Jamie Lynn's side. I feel for that 11-year-old, okay? So Call Her Daddy was very much on Jamie Lynn's side because she mentioned that, people often say that Jamie Lynn is jealous of Britney, and, Jamie Lynn basically said, I'm not jealous of Britney, I've only admired her this whole time. And call me daddy, whatever the fuck her name is, it really did feel like she was on Jamie's side. Which I saw a bunch of comments, especially from you, Katie, honey. You said that if Call Me Daddy or Call Her Daddy is on Jamie's side, she's gonna get canceled. And it's Call Her Daddy, by the way. She says that she worked very hard for her own life. When Zoe 101 started, she started making her own money. She started doing her own things. She did pay for, her apartment. She paid for her bills. So she basically didn't really have to respond to her mother. And she also, says again that she regrets treating her mom. But there was such a shift of power, because Jamie was the breadwinner at this time. She says that she found it very odd that back then Britney told Lynn, the mom, that if she left her father, Britney would buy her a house, and that is exactly what happened. But that her father always ended up there. So it does seem like everybody had an issue with Jamie, the father, even back in the day, okay? So Jamie Lynn had an issue. Britney even offered a mansion to her mother if she divorced her father, okay? And Jamie Lynn really makes it seem like Lynn, the mom, didn't really know how to defend herself and maybe even was scared of the dad. So the dad has always had a really bad reputation, okay? Let's just clear that up. So she starts saying that she was seeing these episodes of Britney, that she was seeing Britney having these episodes, and that she felt like Britney was so overly exhausted and very lost, and nobody seemed to want to help. She starts talking about that these episodes really affected her, okay? So, she is talking about like her story. She then goes ahead and talks about that when Britney shaved her head, she was in a basketball game. She went home to a friend's house, and the friend looked at the blogs and saw that Britney shaved her head. She says that both parents were in LA and she was alone in Louisiana, and that she had no one to talk to and she was basically forgotten. And that she would actually get like bullied in school and get made fun of, and even teachers would make remarks about Britney's shaved head. Then she starts talking about when she was pregnant. So she said she found out she was pregnant at 16. She said she wasn't feeling well. She took a test. And then she says that this team, which, it's probably Britney's team, and her PR team at the time for Zoe, really, really wanted her to have an abortion. And that they were very basically begging her to have one. And that she, really did not want one. Her father actually abandoned her and said, do whatever the fuck you want to do. And then he went to Britney. Her mom was there with her, but her mom was so lost. They did not tell Britney, and she was told not to tell Britney because they basically didn't know like what effect it would have on Britney. So she didn't tell Britney. Britney actually found out apparently when Jamie Lynn did the exclusive for the OK magazine. Call Her Daddy brings up that Britney was hospitalized in 5150 twice the month after, I guess, she announced she was pregnant, and that Jamie Lynn actually says that she really disassociated from that time and that she doesn't remember anything about that time. She says that, her main priority was that she wanted to get a hold of her finances, and she wanted to basically, buy a house and protect, her unborn baby and be with the baby's daddy. So this is honestly when things start getting a little bit annoying for me. So Call Her Daddy says, well, I see a lot of comparisons with Britney and you. Back then, you were fighting your parents and you wanted to take legal action for them to give you your money back. And what it seems that Britney, she just fought her dad, and she was basically comparing the 13-year conservatorship to when they wouldn't give a 16-year-old money for a baby. And she also says that the biggest misconception and what hurts her the most is that she actually tried to help Britney many times. And this is when Sebastian is going to be released, bitch, because we got to talk about this. She says that she tried to help Britney a lot. Okay, first of all, Call Her Daddy trying to compare the 13-year conservatorship to a 16-year-old pregnant person trying to get her money is not even close, bitch, okay? Here's the thing, Call Her Daddy and Jamie Lynn. This is what annoys me. I am a human being with a heart, so I sympathize for that 11-year-old feeling that she didn't matter, that she was forgotten, that she was living in her sister's shadow, that her parents maybe didn't even want to deal with her because they were with Britney, that everything, I get all of that, but you cannot sit here and say that you tried to help Britney. I understand before the Free Britney movement that it was very hush-hush and only like, you know, like the Hollywood people knew, right? So I understand you not saying anything back then. Well, actually, I don't understand you, but like I will like allow it, I guess. Even though obviously it's not my position, but I would understand that, you know, maybe you thought, oh, it's not out there. I could really hurt Britney by saying something publicly. I don't know, you know. I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. But when the Free Britney exploded, that is when Jamie Lynn should have really, really come public and come forward and say, you know what? I know what's been happening, you guys. My sister is a little scared to talk, but I will. I am not under conservatorship, you know? Now, we don't know exactly what type of NDAs or what Jamie Lynn signed, or even if Jamie Lynn was in it all, you know what I mean? But it does seem to me that Jamie Lynn had so many different, you know, she had so many different opportunities to help Britney. You know, I said this in my previous video. She could have helped her financially. She could have just sent out an Instagram saying, you know, I need help. I need to help my sister. This is wrong what they're doing to her. Unless she agreed with it. Unless she knew about it and was on their side. Unless that she agreed with the conservatorship and was maybe earning something from it. That's the only reason I could understand, not understand, but that's the only reason I can come up with that she wouldn't say anything was because she was in it and that she agreed with it. And that is fucked up. You know, if I see my sister in some sort of, you know, in this 13-year-old prison, I'm going to do whatever I can, especially if I have a verified check and people know who I am and I can get a hold of a lawyer and I have money, okay? But if you are gaining something from having your sister being imprisoned for so many years and you're gaining things, well, you know what? Maybe that is why you kept quiet. And of course, they're going to do a part 2 that's going to come out on Wednesday. But I honestly just, you know, it makes me so upset because things could have been so different, you know. Maybe, like I said, she would have stayed quiet for those, you know, somewhat years that it was very hush-hush, thinking she's protecting her sister, thinking if I say anything, maybe they've threatened to take the kids. I don't know, you know, it's all alleged I have to say. But, you know, whatever. But when it all exploded and people were talking, this is not the time for her to stay quiet. And that was not the time for her to just turn a blind eye and do a Netflix show, you know? This was a time for her to stand with her sister. And had she stood with her sister and given her sister a voice when she was too scared to have one, or stand with her the day she did that Zoom thing with the court and hold her hand, you can hear Britney's voice shaking. You can hear how nervous and how sad she was. She needed her sister to hold her hand. She needed Sam holding one hand, her sister holding another, and her mom there, you know, touching her hair. She needed that. And she didn't get it. And that is why, Jamie Lynn Spears, you are not being believed, and you are basically being, you know, cursed out by the world because nobody understands you as a sister with power and money and connections. You didn't do anything to help your sister. So on Wednesday, they're going to talk about the conservatorship. They're going to talk about everything. So I will, of course, keep you guys updated on that. But it honestly, like, it pisses me off because we know she didn't do anything publicly, right? We don't know what happened behind the scenes. She can say she tried to do a million things behind the scenes. But the only way to get something done was to go public like the Free Britney movement did. Had it not been for the Free Britney movement, Britney would have still been in the conservatorship. Jamie Lynn should have been in those marches. Jamie Lynn should have been outside that court. Jamie Lynn should have been tweeting. Jamie Lynn should have had interviews if Britney was too scared. Okay? And she should have said, you know what? Fuck it. They're threatening me. She could have said so many things. And she didn't. And that is why people are upset. And she doesn't understand it. So, I don't know, you guys. It's so fucked up. And you know what? It's so sad because now that Britney is free, this would have been such a beautiful time for them to share together with the kids, have a glass of wine, go out to a restaurant, you know, travel together. You know, it would have been a great sister time. Sister, sister. Oh, girl, that came out bad. Sister, sister. You know what I mean? It would have been a beautiful time for them to have some, you know, gorgeous time together. But they didn't. She chose to stay quiet, and this is the consequences. So what do you guys think of everything? Let me know in the comments below. I will for sure keep you updated. And, you know, it's just a very sad thing. But all I know is that Britney is free, and guess what, bitch? It will always be Britney, bitch. Okay, Jamie Lynn? So you can go chill with yourself, cry a river somewhere else. Because, girl, Britney's that bitch. You ain't.